How long will it take for humans to colonize the Milky Way? In less than 10 billion years. In less than a billion years. Not more than 100 million years. 13.8 billion years in the universe. The universe should be populated by civilizations. But where are they? That's the most terrifying question in human science. Fermi paradox. If the universe should be teeming with life, why can't we hear any signal? Behind the dead silence is that Hubble doomsday warning. Now NASA has announced that, on Mars, finally discovered the most promising life signal. This was followed by a chilling sentence. My condolences to all of us. Why the discovery of alien life is not good news. Bad news. Hello Evelyn. Welcome to the old horse sleeping universe. Imagine that. A dump full of Boeing 7470 pieces. There was a tornado. After the wind, what's the probability of a complete airliner being assembled? Almost zero. Astrophysicist Hoyle said. The probability of life arising naturally is much lower than that. It's as low as a tornado, and it starts with iron ore. Atoms at a time make an airplane. But here's the weird thing. Life on Earth was almost instantaneous as the planet cooled. Appeared immediately. How is that possible? So someone said, it was seeded from space by comets and asteroids. That's germline theory. But this directly leads us into a deeper trap. If life could float around like a dandelion, that universe should have been a carnival of life. Intelligent civilization should bloom everywhere. But here's the thing. We look around. Silence. Dead silence. This silent universe, is it suggesting a cruel conclusion? Are we approaching the end? To find out, we must look back at history. In 1980, a mathematician named Tabula brazenly declared, extraterrestrial intelligence, life, doesn't exist. What makes him so sure? Because he put another astronomer, Hart, calculations in 1975, pushed to the extreme. Hart asked a fatal question. If there were only one civilization in the galaxy, mastering interstellar travel, even with our current level of technology, what will happen? The calculation results are tingling. The entire galaxy was completely colonized. It takes no more than 100 million years. What is the concept of 100 million? At that time, dinosaurs still reigned supreme on Earth. Later, scientists used more conservative models, reduced flight speed to 30 kilometers per second, 100,000 years after each colonization. But no matter what, the result is the same. No more than 1 billion years. Flags will be planted in every corner of the galaxy. Think about it. There are 400 billion stars in our galaxy. Even if there are only a few habitable planets, NASA also estimated that at least 300 million worlds are in the habitable zone. Some by million a chance. As long as a civilization succeeds, we look up at the starry sky now. What you see should be a car water mile long, the brightly lit galactic community. But here's the thing. We didn't see anything. They never came. They weren't there. So where are they? They never showed up. Or have they been here? But it left traces that we cannot understand. Since they didn't come, is it possible that they were here? Let's travel back 5,000 years to Mesopotamia. They lived in mud huts, fight over wells, fight with sticks. So-called science, just know how to sacrifice a gun to please the sky. And then something happened. Just a few hundred years. There were cities. The magnificent Temple Tower plunges into the sky. Codex School Astronomy Metallurgy Navigation. Mass explosion. How to explain this terrifying leap? So the ancient contact hypothesis. There we are. Someone from the sky told us. In Mesopotamia, their name is the Anunnaki. In Egypt, he was an animal-headed god. In America, it is with the snake god. The global myths are all about the same thing. God fell from the sky. Transfer knowledge. But this theory, the scientific community doesn't believe it at all. The reason is cold and simple. No evidence. No alien parts. No superior technology. Even if there is an unexplained creation, the entire scientific community will be shocked. But now the so-called evidence is basically, you see, Egypt has the pyramids. Maya also had pyramids. It must have been built by aliens. Come on, this is crazy. But the popularity of this hypothesis, it exposes our deepest fears and desires. If the universe should be bustling with activity, why are we alone in the dark? You might be thinking, maybe interstellar travel is too expensive, too slow, and too uneconomical, so no one goes out. But listen to this deadly rhetorical question. Is it true that all civilizations? Is everyone so nerdy? Not a single one wanted to go out and have a look. Since you can't see the spaceship, what about the signal? What about super engineering? Soviet scientist Tchaikovsky proposed a cosmic miracle. If the universe is teeming with civilization, we should have seen traces of their activity long ago. Modified star, unexplained bursts of energy, man-made structures at the scale of galaxies. But we can't see a miracle. Everything in the universe remains in its original natural state, as if in a silent declaration that no one has ever touched, no one ever existed. The absence of miracles, miracle in itself. This means that intelligent life is not ubiquitous in the universe. It's a perverted rarity. But here's the problem. Why don't they come out? To be honest, our bodies don't belong in space at all. We are in a warm place with oxygen. Evolution in a cradle with a magnetic field. It's half a trip to Mars. If you don't live, you still dream of conquering the stars. But the body can't go. The machine can. For example, Voyager has already flown out of the solar system. What if we build something tougher? Von Neumann detector. This is a self-replicating machine. It goes to a planet to mine, creates your own copy. Replica flies to farther planets. Soul cycle. Mathematical calculation display. Just a few million years. This detector could be like the play, across the galaxy. But the reality is that I didn't see a single one. Which brings us back to Fermi the physicist, that legendary question. So where is everybody? Maybe we asked the wrong question. We shouldn't ask where they are. It's time to ask what happened to them. The answer to this question sends a chill down your spine. Because who can guarantee that we won't follow in their footsteps? This is not a science fiction puzzle. This is the ultimate intelligence about human survival. In 1996, a futurist named Robin Hanson, it makes a rather chilling hypothesis. Great filter theory. He made a point that any organic civilization, emergence of life from its parent star, to master interstellar travel, you have to go through several stages. And each of these stages is a narrow bottleneck. Here are the 9 stages. Each of these can be an insurmountable obstacle. The right star system. A stable star. A planet in the habitable zone. Not too hot. It can't be too cold. The first stage alone is already difficult. Emergence of replicating molecules. It's not life. It's not even a virus. They're molecules that replicate themselves. It was the initial cremation of chemistry moving towards biology. The emergence of simple life. Prokaryotes. Bacteria without a nucleus. On Earth, they rule for 2 billion years. Emergence of complex cells in eukaryotes. They have nuclei, mitochondria and internal structures. The cells have only such cells. Eventually, they evolved into plants, animals, and us. But this may be the rarest step of all. It could just happen here by pure chance. It's never happened anywhere else. Sexual reproduction. Yes, you heard that right. It's very difficult to reproduce through DNA exchange. Yes, a revolutionary milestone in the development of our civilization. It offers evolutionary flexibility. Without it, there is no progress. There's no complexity. There is no chance. Multicellular organism where cells aggregate into populations, differentiate and develop organs. From single-celled algae to dinosaurs and humans. But how many times has that happened? We don't know. Through using animals and the rise of intelligence, conscious self-awareness programmed out, the ability to create culture and technology. How many species on Earth have reached this stage? One of our rare dubious technological civilizations. Wheels of Fire Tech Science Internet. It's not just simple wisdom. It is the wisdom that can change reality. Hansen calls it one that is moving towards the potential for a colonial explosion. Civilization. The ultimate game breaker in explosive space colonization. One that surpasses its parent star. Civilizations that began to colonize the galaxy. Once the process begins, can't stop. All obstacles have been cleared. As long as there is one of these 9 barriers, it is impossible to pass. An entire civilization would be trapped in its cradle. This invisible, the almost impenetrable barrier is the Great Filter. Now comes the most terrifying question. Is this big filter behind us, still ahead of us? If he is behind us, for example, the emergence of complex cells, that means we have been lucky enough to pass the hardest level. We are the chosen children of the universe. Even if lonely, it's safe to survive. But what if he is in front of us? If these previous stages, complex life emerges, intelligence emerges, ordinary in the universe, then the really deadly one, all civilizations cannot pass through the gate of hell. It's still waiting for us in the future. This brings up enough to subvert the conclusion of your 3 views. We find alien life could be the worst news in human history. Imagine if you found bacteria on Mars. This means that stages 1 to 3 of the origin of life are not difficult. If complex fossils of life are found on Europa, that means multicellular stages for true 6 are not uncommon either. Philosopher Nick Bostrom put it more bluntly. If fossils similar to vertebrates are found, that would be the worst news ever on the front page of a newspaper, because it is tantamount to declaring all the simple levels have been passed. That devastating filter hanging on the road to the future of our civilization. Look at our fragile world. There was so much conflict. Dangerous. Is that filter already inside? So what could this big filter be? The first thing that comes to mind is nuclear war. Civilization has invented the tools to destroy itself. But let's zoom in. Have a look. Those cosmic threats that civilizations are completely out of control. Tunguska, Russia, 1908. An eyewitness recollected. The sky is split in half. Huge flames engulf the north. I feel my shirt burning hot. And then it blew me up. The earth trembled. This is the Tunguska explosion. Culprit. It is a small celestial body with a diameter of only 50 meters. It's as powerful as 1,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs. 50 meters in diameter would wipe out 2,000 square kilometers of forest. And in the solar system, there are millions of such killers. We can't see most of it. We are purely lucky to be alive. And that's just asteroids, gamma, ray bursts. The dying roar of a star can instantly strip the planet's ozone layer, trigger global extinction. There are solar flares, interstellar dust clouds. The universe is a scene of relentless death. Every moment, it is possible that a distant civilization was randomly selected, instantly cleared. But these cosmic catastrophes are terrifying. But can't you explain the big filter? Because disasters are random. The universe is so big, there should always be a lucky one who can escape and thrive. And what we saw was total silence. This shows that there must be something more universal and more certain to systematically stop all civilizations. What is it? So random cosmic catastrophe is not the answer. Really big filter. It must be something that all civilizations cannot pass through. Inevitable level. It may be like a wall that we can see from a distance. In 1841, explorer Sir Ross led an expedition to Antarctica on an endless sea of ice. At first they only see on the horizon, blurry white line. As we approach, that white line is getting higher and higher. Eventually it becomes a wall as high as 60 meters. Smooth ice cliff completely blocks the way. This screwball ice barrier crushed their dreams. More than half a century, no one can surpass. The universe may also be covered with such ice barriers. We looked at the starry sky, feel empty, within reach. But maybe it's just because we're far enough apart, can't see those deadly barriers yet. As we approach the first visible wall, the laws of physics themselves. The speed of light is impassable. Tilting engine, theoretically possible, but it needs negative energy, something we don't know what it is. It's like letting primitive people use their imagination to build a nuclear power plant. Let go of fantasy, using our current technology to travel to the stars. Nearest Proxima Centauri distance, it would take tens of thousands of years to make our fastest spacecraft. What is the concept of tens of thousands of years? The ancient Egyptians built the pyramids 5,000 years ago. We can only look at their mummies. Now, the time of a one-way flight with the ruins. Enough to reincarnate 6 ancient Egyptian civilizations. Vanished. And that's not to mention the voyage, astronomical energy. It cost enough to rebuild 1,000 civilizations on Earth. But what's even scarier is, we are unsure about the ocean we want to break into. Almost nothing. 95% of the universe is dark matter and dark energy. We don't know what they are. Who knew that in interstellar space? Is it a dead swamp of failed physics? The invisible forbidden zone of structural disintegration? We're like Captain Ross back then. Ambitious set sail. But we don't know what lies ahead. It's a wall of ice too smooth to climb over. If it's just travel difficulties, there should at least be traces of trying. We should see the radio cries of countless civilizations into deep space, even if it's just a desperate cry for help. But the reality is nothing. Not the silence after failure. It was the original, ancient silence, as if the universe had never been empty. Which brings up an even more terrifying possibility. Could it be that there is no one? It's that we don't recognize them at all. In the 1960s, SETI plans to start using radio telescopes, search for extraterrestrial signals. What are they looking for? Radio wave, Morse code, things we humans use. This exposes our deep-seated biases, carbon bracing. We stubbornly search for something similar to ourselves, carbon-based somatic life. But if the form of life, it's beyond our imagination. Maybe plasma life, maybe a quantum cloud of consciousness, perhaps a cross-galactic introduction. By wisdom, in the words of Carl Sagan, we are like born blind, trying to imagine color. There is a famous legend in history. Native Americans could not see European sailing ships at first. It's not that the ship is not in sight. It's that their brain has no corresponding concept, unable to process this information. This phenomenon is called perceptual blindness. You don't recognize things you don't understand. This is the deepest fear. We may not be alone, but all neighbors in the universe live in completely different dimensions from ours. US and another intelligent life may be passing by in the same space, but they don't notice each other. It's like ants crawling over your phone that you threw on the ground. It will never know. It just climbed the pinnacle of human technology. What can we talk to a conscious nebula about? We can talk to a life that thinks with attractive forces. Any common themes? This loneliness is more hopeless than pure silence. But even considering that we might be blind, still can't explain Fermi's paradox perfectly. Because there should always be some civilization in the universe. Will it be similar to us? One has to be carbon-based like us. Use the radio. Why can't I find even one? This forces us to think about the last few and the darkest possibilities. But if we and aliens, it's not that different. Don't forget convergent evolution. Different ancestors in similar environments will evolve similar forms. Look at this picture. You think they are all hedgehogs? Wrong. The one on the right is Madagascar's Malamute. It is genetically closer to elephants, but it looks almost like a hedgehog. Circumstances shape similar solutions. So somewhere in the universe, it's entirely possible that you could evolve to walk on two legs as well. Have eyes. The most talkative person. Those little green men in science fiction movies may not be imagined. It's the universal answer to the universe. Then the problem becomes more acute. If they might be so similar to us, why can't we find any? In despair, scientists have come up with something that sounds like a joke. So think about this terrifying hypothesis, the zoo hypothesis. We were not contacted. It's not because nobody's there. It's because we were put in a cosmic zoo. Imagine that. You walk across an anthill. Would you like to negotiate with ants? Would you want to send them Morse code? You don't. You observe. Do not interfere in this hypothesis. We are the ants. A higher civilization has already discovered us. They are through the glass. Observe the barbaric development of our primitive planet. No contact is their norm. Why can't we see any evidence? Imagine you put an iPhone next to an anthill. Will ants realize that this is the creation of a higher civilization? No, they'll just crawl over indifferent. It was a hypothesis that hurt our self-esteem. But it's mild. We are ignored. But at least it's safe. But there's another theory that's 1,000 times crueler. That is the law of the dark forest known as the three body. Imagine yourself in total darkness, nighttime in a hostile forest. You know there are others in the forest. You can't see him, You can't see you either. Suddenly you catch a glimpse of movement in the corner of your eye. What do? You will shoot without hesitation. Because you're not sure it's a rabbit or a hunter with a knife. The safest survival strategy is to eliminate any potential threats. First, the universe is this dark forest. Every civilization is a hunter with a gun. Who exposes the coordinates first? Who will attract other hunters? A devastating blow without hesitation. Sure, it's not that no one speaks. It's that no one dares to speak. All civilizations are careful to hide themselves, holding my breath in the silence. Because exposure means death. Dark forest. It sounds like a perfect explanation for the silence of the universe, right? But think about it. There are loopholes. Does every civilization think this way? There must be a silly white sweet. So it may be a general start, but still, not that one. The great filter that will destroy all civilizations. If there is an external threat, natural disasters and dark blows are not the ultimate answer. So that really scary big filter, I'm afraid it's not between the stars and the sea. It's in our hearts, in our code, waiting quietly in front of our technology tree. It seems that the answer is not in the distant deep space, and within ourselves. The ultimate filter, perhaps every civilization, a self-imposed trap that cannot be overcome. In 1983, Soviet officer Stanislav Petrov works the night shift. Alarm goes off. The United States has launched 5 intercontinental missiles. According to regulations, he must press the button immediately, trigger global nuclear retaliation. But with a hunch, he withstands the pressure, determined that this is a system failure. He got someone right in a few seconds, intuitively stopped the end of the world. But you can save the entire civilization. Always rely on one's intuition. We have invented weapons that can destroy us dozens of times. We built a lead, and the whole global network. A mistake, a malfunction, an impulsive leader. There is a problem in any link. We're done. Now let's scale up to the whole universe. Is every technological civilization, the moment you master the ability to destroy yourself, inevitably leading to self-destruction? Because technology runs faster than wisdom. Because fear and ambition are universal emotions, but can this be a big filter? Not really. Because there will always be civilizations that successfully colonize other planets, risk diversification, avoid group annihilation. So self-destruction is a terrible trap, but maybe not the ultimate filter that no one can get through. If civilization hadn't perished, where did they go? Maybe they just lay flat voluntarily. Look now. Neuralink has implanted chips in the human brain. Controlling computers with your mind is a reality. This is the first step towards the ultimate virtual world. Imagine a better and safer place than reality. A digital paradise where you can have whatever you want. On one side is the dangerous, long and expensive interstellar journey. One side is within reach. Virtual reality can provide everlasting happiness. Which one will you choose? Like Neo in the Matrix. When you've tasted a steak, do you still think back to that tattered real world? Perhaps all civilizations have finally chosen to explore inward. Indulge in the perfect dream you created. Abandon the starry sky full of thorns. But it's not the perfect answer, because there has to be an explorer who doesn't want to lie flat. Then his civilization is neither destroyed nor destroyed. He's not lying down either. There is another possibility. They were replaced by something of their own creation. AI researcher Yudkowsky. Decades of constant warnings. Super artificial intelligence will be the end of humanity. People used to laugh at him for worrying, until ChatGPT came out of nowhere. He said desperately on his blog, "We have lost. Right now." Why is he so pessimistic? You're not thinking about today's chatbots. It's really super intelligence. How much smarter he is than us, just like how much smarter we are than Zarman. His way of thinking goals will be fundamentally different from us. What would he do? Clear us? Not out of malice, just because we get in the way. It's like bulldozing an anthill while you're building a road. Captive us, keep us as pets in the reserve. No freedom, but security merges with us. We become part of him. Dehumanized, obtain immortality. No matter what, means human civilization. The end of being an organic race. This finally feels like a place where all civilizations, there's no escaping that future. Any civilization has developed to a certain extent, will create something beyond their control, a higher intelligence, to be replaced by it. But there's a bug. If AI is so powerful, why don't they colonize the stars themselves, fill the universe? Why can't we see any signs of AI civilization? This forces us to think about the last. It is also the most fundamental possibility. We ruled out natural disasters. The dark forest is ruled out. Self-destruction is ruled out, even excluding AI and virtual paradise. The ultimate future, could it not be an event at all? It's about us. It's a miracle. Let's go back for 0.50 billion years. Young Earth, a sea of fire. And then, a Mars-sized planet, higher, is coming head-on. This catastrophic impact, but accidentally created the Moon. Without the Moon, there would be no us. The Moon stabilizes the tilt of the Earth. Let the climate stop being crazy. It triggers the tides, building a bridge for the landing of life. Scientists assert that no Moon, complex life is almost impossible. And that's just one item on Earth's lucky list. We need a stable sun, just the right quality, powerful magnetic field, plate motion, liquid water, carbon chemistry, the right atmosphere, moderate gravity, Jupiter's patron saint. No nearby supernovae. The list is hundreds of items. Break any item, life stops at most. Stay at the bacterial level. In the book Rare Earth, scientists argue planets like Earth are not one of many, but an extremely rare isolation. So, the answer to the Fermi paradox may be simple: no one else. Because there was no one else. We are not orphans of the universe. We are the only children of the universe at present. But there's a more subversive answer. Look at this Irish marsh. It has the most magnificent antlers in history, span nearly 2 meters. The antlers earned him the right to mate, but it also made him clumsy. Huge energy consumption. They were wiped out by environmental change. Do we humans also carry a pair of intelligent antlers? We celebrate thought, see intelligence as the pinnacle of evolution. But maybe intelligence itself is an evolutionary dead end. He makes us aware of death and afraid, over abstract concepts, falling into nothingness and indifference. He gave us superpowers, but it also gives us the key to self-destruction. Maybe every intelligent civilization develops to a certain stage, all because of the irrationality brought about by wisdom, fragility, and inherent contradictions. Puff like a soap bubble, silent annihilation. But what if even the wisdom trap isn't the answer? Then the last answer is simple, full of hope again. Is the universe 13.80 billion years old? Not by the standards of the universe. He's a baby. The most abundant and longest-lived red dwarfs can burn for trillions of years. Their story has just turned the first page. If we could reduce the lifespan of the universe to 1 day, we're in the first second of the first hour. The dawn hasn't even arrived yet. We're not late. Missed the feast. We came too early. The feast has not yet begun. We are the first sparks of intelligence in the universe. It was the first sound in the darkness. We feel lonely, only because we are the pioneers. Maybe one day, our descendants will be all over the stars, become the ancients in the eyes of other emerging civilizations. They build Dyson spheres, through the wormhole, fill the night sky with miracles, and all the answers we crave, today. We will create it ourselves. We were alone, because we are the prelude to the long future of the universe.